we're going to start off with Zeus and Midas, the greatest couple of all time. So, Zeus lusted after Midas, he's quite the ladies' man around here. Midas tried to escape, but nah, Zeus is just too strong. Anyway, he continued to chase her. She changed into some creatures like a hawk, some fish, some serpents, maybe catch Zeus a little off guard. But Zeus was very determined, and he was equally proficient at changing forms. So it was easy peasy lemon squeezy for big old Zeus master over here. But she relented eventually, so no big deal. They got married, lived happily ever after, right? Basic story, But the oracle named Gia then prophesied that Midas' first child would be a girl. And that her second child would be a boy that would overthrow Zeus, similar to what had happened between him and to his father and grandfather previously. But Zeus took this warning to his heart. When he next saw Midas, he initially flattered her, put his little pizzazz on his freaking talk, put her at ease, made her turn into a big old fly, real juicy. Then, when her guards were down as a fly, Zeus just opened wide, swallowed her and her unborn child. Interesting way to get rid of your kid, huh? So, this was the end of Midas. But it also was the beginning of Zeus's great wisdom. After a time of swallowing, Midas, he developed a unbearable headache, which made him scream out of pain so loudly it could be heard throughout the earth. The other gods came to see what the problem was. Hermes, being the smart man that he is, he's real smart, realized what needed to be done. He directed Hephaestus, because he couldn't do it himself, to take a wedge and split open Zeus' skull. And boom! Out of the skull sprang Athena. Can we just put a moment out here and say that she came out with a full suit of armor? And fully grown too, like no problem, no question asked. Just a nice, pa-bam, done. So now we're on to Athena. Athena, springing out of Zeus' forehead and all. She was the goddess of war, obviously, because, she sprang out of a forehead. But it makes sense that she was the goddess of wisdom, too. And she was also the female counterpart, Ares, who was the god of war, She was the daughter of Zeus, obviously. No mother bore her, because it was real interesting how she was born. She was Zeus's favorite child out of the, 10,000 that he had, literally the whole family tree is from Zeus. Anyway, according to the Homer's account of the Iliad, Athena was a fierce and ruthless warrior. In the Odyssey, she was angry and unforgiving. In the course of the Trojan War, she struck Ajax with madness. Strike! Anyway, she was known for protecting civilized life. She was the goddess of the city. Athena served as a guardian of Athens, where the Parthenon served as her temple. Zeus trusted her to wield the Aegis, that big shield, the real powerful one that was insane. And then and his thunderbolt. Are you kidding me, Zeus? You're really gonna give up your thunderbolt? But her most important festival was the Panathenea, which was celebrated annually at Athens. The owl was her bird, and the olive tree was hers. She turned the weaver Arachne into a spider after the mortal woman insulted Athena and the Olympian gods. Athena reared Eratosthenes, son of Hephaestus. Hephaestus was also the man that basically brought her to life with the headache and splitting open Zeus' skull. He was half man, half serpent. Athena put the infant in a chest and gave it to others to watch over, forbidding them to open it. When they did, she drove them mad as punishment. She is one of the 3 virgin goddesses. Imagine that. Zeus didn't get to all of them. But The other two of the virgin goddesses were Hestia and Artemis. Athena invented the flute, so she could really work the flute, but she never played it. She was clean. No problem. No flute playing for her. Hermes and Athena went to the aid of Perseus in his quest to kill Medusa. Since looking directly at Medusa would turn any man into stone, but she was a woman, so how would that work? Anyway, so basically she should kill him by herself, not? So Athena provided Perseus with her polished shield. Why does she have a polished shield? Using it, he was able to see Medusa as if looking in a mirror. But then, technically, if she's looking in a mirror, why didn't she turn herself into stone? Does that mean that women can't be turned into stone? Athena guided his hand as he cut off Medusa's head with his sword. Good job, Athena. Yeah, you killed Medusa. But yeah, it doesn't get any credit for it. So, the sacred image of Athena, a wood statue in Palladium, protected the Trojans as long as they had it, after the Trojan War, of course. Athena helped Hercules when, as a part of his penance, he was required to drive away the Stymphalian birds. She got them moving, and Hercules just straight up clay shoot, baby. Boom, boom, boom. Good night. Easy. Athena was a great god. So we're on to Bellerophon. That's how you properly pronounce it for anybody questioning me, okay? I looked it up. So Bellerophon was a famous Greek hero, mostly known for defeating the Chimera, a fire-breathing mythical monster. He was also recognized by riding a white Pegasus, which was sort of a gift from Athena, because, you know, she's the best goddess ever. But for his devotion to the goddess, he was very devout to Athena. He was the son of Poseidon, so he must have been born in the water. I just put two and two together. But, like mentioned, his adventures began when he was exiled from his home. It was not long before he arrived at Tyrannies, where he was accepted and cleansed from his crimes. I wish it was that easy nowadays, you know. Now you go to jail. But anyway, by King Proetus. They enjoyed a great friendship until the king's wife, Stehenoboea, fell in love with Bellerophon. Bellerophon's got some game and wanted to have an affair with him. But when he rejected her, good job, Bellerophon, way to have some morals, you know. She falsely accused him of wanting to rape her. Wow. He has some morals not to have a freaking affair, and then she just comes out over here with the big old... He was trying to rape me. Okay, anyway. Proetus wanted to kill him, but didn't want to satisfy his anger by killing a guest and risking the wrath of the gods. Therefore, he sent Bellerophon to Lycia to King Iobates, his father-in-law, along with a sealed tablet containing a message for the king. In the message, it was written that Bellerophon wanted to violate his daughter, and that he should get rid of him. However, before the king opened the tablet, he had feasted with Bellerophon for 9 days and treated him as a guest. When he finally learned about the message from his son-in-law, Proetus, he feared of Erinyes, who might bring their wrath upon him. If he was going to kill a guest as a result, the king sent Bellerophon on a quest, which he thought that was impossible to survive in. The quest was to slay the Chimera, a monstrous fire-breathing female creature composed with parts of lion, goat, and serpent. Why does it have to be a female? Is Greek having a direct shot on females? Or is it just because, oh man, yeah, or is it just because, you know, females? Never mind. I'm not going to get on that topic. But it had a body and head of a lion with another head of a goat rising from its back and a serpent instead of a tail. The beast was terrorizing the local countryside, killing cattle and men. Bellerophon was advised by a local seer in Lycia to find and tame the winged Pegasus in order to prevail the battle with Chimera. Bellerophon then went to pray night and day in the temple of Athena. When the goddess finally appeared in his dreams, she gave him a golden bridle. So good, Athena, so good. With which he could successfully tame Pegasus. He was also hinted to go to the well of Pierne on the Acropolis, which was his birthplace in Corinth, where he would find Pegasus and tame it. While drinking from the well, the Pegasus would be drinking from the well, not him, obviously. After successfully bonding with this creature, Bellerophon flew back to the Lycian lands and spotted the monster. He engaged in battle but couldn't come close enough to it to hit it with arrows or a spear because of the fire expelled by the Chimera. Soon, the hero came up with a solution. What a smart guy. Bellerophon, Athena, what a great combination. They should have got married. By attaching a block of lead to his spear and flew over the fire-breathing beast, dropped the lead from his spear into his mouth. The beast's fire breath melted the lead, blocking its air passage, and consequently suffocating the beast. What a great way to go out, suffocating to death. One day, Bellerophon decided that his victory over the Chimera was enough to ascend to Mount Olympus and preside with the gods. He flew with Pegasus towards the heaven, and when he nearly reached the gates of Olympus, Zeus decided enough is enough and sent a gadfly. Here he is with the flies again. First, he ate Midas while she was a fly, and now he's sending a gadfly after freaking Bellerophon after he just killed a Chimera, which he couldn't do, so I don't understand this. Come on, Greek. Anyway, gadfly stung Pegasus, which caused the creature to unsaddle Bellerophon, which doesn't make any sense, okay? If he's a god, he's okay. It made him fall all the way back to Earth. Bellerophon had fallen into a bush on the plains of Elaeon, hurting himself badly. He was crippled and blinded and left alone to live out the rest of his life in misery, grieving and shunning the haunts of men. What a shame. Bellerophon was such a good guy. And they just did that to him. So we're here with Demeter and Persephone. Please do not say this wrong. It gets on me and Mr. Stare's nerves. Actually, just kidding. It's Mr. Stare and I. Mr. Stare and me. Anyway. Demeter was the daughter of Cronus and Rhea. Rhea, Cronus. They made a nice goddess of fertility and harvest. She ended up having one daughter with the one and only Zeus. What a man he was. He had so many kids. Literally, like I said before, the family tree. One day, while Persephone over here was a young girl playing and picking flowers like a young girl should, along with all her friends in a valley. Oh, what a beautiful day. She beheld the most enchanting Narcissus she had ever seen. As she stopped down to pick the flower, the earth beneath her feet suddenly cleaved open, and through the gap, Hades himself, none other than Hades, the god of the underworld, himself came out on his chariot with black horses. Hades grabbed the lovely maiden before she could scream for help and descended into his underworld kingdom while the gap in the earth closed after them. Some people called this the rape of Persephone because you never really know what happened after that. It's a story that has not been told. But after Hades abducted Persephone, Demeter grieved. Oh, Persephone, no! But the earth became barren through her neglect. Thus, the winter season and its manifestations were a reflection of Demeter's emotional state during Persephone's absence. So basically, all the seasons just kind of got messed up. Like winter was now spring, spring was now summer, summer was now winter. So it kind of just like messed it all up, That's a huge tragic, by the way. But anyway, still angry over the abduction of Persephone, Demeter subjected the world to famine. So basically everybody's going to starve to death. Good job, Demeter! Way to shove it into Hades. But Zeus decided. Well, Zeus sent the gods to Demeter one by one to try and bring her out of her despondency. Demeter and Persephone were ultimately reunited at Zeus's decree. Demeter was granted 4 months per year with Persephone. This was basically the only compromise that Zeus could come up with Hades, making it. Nobody really liked the idea at all. It was so bad. Like, they hated each other for it. But, it's whatever it is. Zeus is the almighty god. Nobody else can touch him. But Demeter revealed to the man the art of growing and using corn. She was the only women attended the Thesmophoria, which was a fertility festival held in the honor of Demeter, which is pretty cool. Demeter, goddess of fertility. Really interesting how this guy got Demeter on his team because farmer boy, let's go. Anyway, Demeter and Dionysus were worshipped at Eleusis, a little town near Athens. Their worship was referred to as the Eleusinian Mysteries. Persephone eventually became the queen of the underworld, so eventually Hades and Persephone got married. Persephone eventually turned the nymph Minthe into a mint plant. So now Hades is just gonna eat her instead of cheating on her, Make a nice tea, maybe a drinker, But anyway, Demeter and Persephone, what a delightful mother and daughter relationship they had there. So now we're at the great god Oceanus. I mean, not really great god, more of a side god. But anyway, Oceanus was the son of Gaia. He married his sister. What a surprise. It's Greek mythology. Everybody marries their sister or brother or sister or cousin or whatever. Anyway, mother? Like, what? Father? What? Anyway, married Theseus, with whom he had numerous children. Not numerous. Like thousands. Called Oceanids. Anyway. These were the lesser gods and goddesses of the rivers, the sea, and the springs. In fact, Oceanus and Theseus were so fertile that the overproduction of aqueous elements of nature would cause floods. So, simple solution to that, get divorced. I mean, you didn't have to get divorced. You could have just stopped playing checkers all the time. But what do I know? I mean, they are gods of rivers and stuff, so, you'd think they'd be pretty fertile. So they didn't think that one through. Anyway, the couple was not involved in a tight alchemy against Zeus, so the latter let them continue their reign in the watery kingdom. Oceanus was often depicted with having bull horns and the tail of a serpentine fish instead of legs. Makes sense, he lives in the water, so he has to be able to swim. Not really getting the bull horns part. I mean, bull horns? Is that to, like, spear other fishes? Or is that to, like... Never mind.
So, Aphrodite. What an interesting way to be born, Born from Uranus's genitalias. Apparently he was very fertile, But his genitalias fell into the sea after he was castrated by his son Cronus. When you castrate your own father. But this brought about the goddess of love. When she emerged from the waters on the scallop shell, fully grown and nude and more beautiful than anything anyone had ever seen before or since. What a day to be alive. Aphrodite was so lovely that only the three virgin goddesses, Artemis, Athena, and Hestia, were immune to her charms and power. Unsurprisingly, the second she got on Olympus, she inadvertently wreaked havoc amongst the other gods, each of whom instantly wanted to have her for himself. So as to prevent this, Zeus, the smart man that he is, hurriedly married her to Hephaestus, the ugliest among the Olympians. Of course, this merely alleviated the problem. Aphrodite didn't plan to remain faithful. I don't understand why Zeus would marry him. Why to why would you marry the ugliest one to the prettiest one? That's obviously going to cause affairs. Like there's no way somebody that pretty, and Aphrodite especially, it's the Greek goddess, everybody has affairs, to stay with Hephaestus. Like, man, give her like the god of love, which I don't even think existed, but still, maybe he should have gave her to Cupid. Maybe that would have stopped her. You know? See, I should have been writing that Greek mythology. Anyway, so she started with one of many affairs with someone as destructive and as violent as herself, Ares. Helios, however, saw them and informed Hephaestus, after which the god made sure to devise a fine bronze net, which ensnared the couple the next time they lay together in bed. To add insult to injury, Hephaestus called upon all the other gods to laugh at the adulterers and freed them only after Poseidon agreed to pay for their release. But Poseidon, after seeing Aphrodite naked, he fell in love with her all over again. But Hephaestus must have found out later, since Aphrodite gave Poseidon at least one daughter who was Rhode, and she didn't give up on Ares either. In fact, after the bronze net scandal, she bore the god of war as many as 8 children: Deimos, Phobos, Harmonia, Adrastea, and the 4 Erotos. I'm really confused on how Hephaestus can just see somebody pregnant and not even question it. And the kid never comes to him. So I don't even understand. But Hermes didn't have many consorts, but he did have Aphrodite at least once, as the very name of their offspring, hermaphrodites, suggests, and if we take into account that Priapus is usually considered a son of Dionysius and Aphrodite, it seems that only Zeus and Hades managed to never fall for the goddess of love. But the second one didn't even live on Olympus, and the former may have been her father. Once she took a baby boy, she took a baby boy she found beside a myrrh tree to the underworld and asked Persephone to take care of him. However, when she went to visit him after many years, she instantly fell in love with an now unusually handsome mortal. So, he asked to have Adonis, which was the boy's name that Persephone gave him, back. But Persephone wouldn't allow this. Maybe Persephone wanted to, maybe she fell in love with him. You never know, okay? Because it's Greek. You never know who's loving who. But Zeus settled the quarrel by dividing Adonis's time between the 2 goddesses. However, Adonis preferred Aphrodite, and when the time came, he didn't want to go back to the underworld. Persephone sent a wild boar to kill him, and Adonis bled to death in Aphrodite's arms. The couple had 2 children, Beroe and Golgos. Another time, Aphrodite fell for a Trojan prince called Anchises. Pretending to be a princess herself, she seduced him and slept with him. Only afterwards she revealed herself, promising him a noble son and warning him to keep the affair to himself. Anchises wasn't able to, so he was struck by Zeus, thunderbolt which blinded him, and he wasn't able to see his son Aeneas, found the mighty Roman Empire. No big deal, just the Roman Empire. Paris was the 3rd and final mortal who was blessed with seeing Aphrodite naked. This happened when he was tasked with judging who of the 3 goddesses, Aphrodite, Hera, and Athena, was the fairest. Aphrodite promised Paris the most beautiful girl in the world if he chose her, so naturally he did. Aphrodite made sure that he gets Helen, the Spartan queen, an event which triggered the bloody decade long Trojan War. So basically, Aphrodite is the female version of Zeus. I think Aphrodite even got around more than Zeus. That's pretty impressive. But Aphrodite didn't get to sleep with Zeus, which is a real interesting one. Because you'd think Zeus, being the player that he is, would have been able to reel Aphrodite in no problem, you know? But apparently not. Anyway, Aphrodite, just caused a lot of affairs. That's basically it. Oh, we are here with Cyclops, mythical creature from Greek mythology. Cyclops directly translates to round eye or circle eye. You know, big round eyes, like those guys that have like one eye, you know. But many authors believe it was derived from an older word that meant sheep stealer. Man, why are all the fables always relating back to sheep? Like look at Aesop's fable and the wolf in sheep's clothing, you know, always trying to kill the sheep. Why do they always think the sheep are harmless or can't defend themselves? I think they should make a sheep that literally can kill anything that comes at it. But Cyclopses are gigantic, one-eyed beings with enormous strength. So basically, they swing their big logs around that they pick up, and they're just like, whoa, boom. You know, they just freaking hit you with the big old log that they just pulled out of the ground, big tree. Originally, there were three Cyclopses, brothers, Argus, Steropes, and Brontes, who were all blacksmiths and sons of Uranus and Gaia, as well as the brother of Hecatoncures, the hundred-handed ones. There were some of the earliest known gods, and were born shortly after the Titans. So they were pretty early in Greek mythology. They were imprisoned by Cronus and released by his son Zeus, and forged his thunderbolt as a sign of gratitude. So Zeus really isn't that strong. The Cyclopses are what made him that strong. There was also thought to be a race of dim-witted and violent one-eyed shepherds dwelling in the cave of an island of Sicily. In the human word. That's the human word of it. I don't know what it actually is. But the most famous was Polyphemus, who fell in love with Galatea and was eventually blinded by Odysseus. That's how you say it. These Cyclopses were called Homers and were related to Poseidon. So, off of Cyclops, we go to our next creature, who was the Echidna. She was known as the mother of all monsters. She is the wife of Typhoon, who is a giant, who is the father of all monsters, and is also the most fearsome and dangerous. Basically, he's like the big guy that, you know, when you walk up to him, you're like, "Whoa, buddy! All right, don't mess him. Don't tick him off. You know, don't press his buttons a little too much. You know." But together they attacked Mount Olympus, but Zeus managed to repel them, burying Typhoon under Mount Etna. Echidna and her children were spared to continue challenging future heroes, basically like Bellerophon and Hercules and those type of heroes that they were challenged the monsters. Echidna was thought to have lived most of her life in a cave, only leaving to devour unsuspecting travelers. So basically, she just killed innocent bystanders, not even really the heroes that wanted to kill her. But Echidna did not age, nor could she die. But her immortality did not make her invincible. One-hundred-handed one named Argus Ponoptes snuck into Echidna's cave and slayed her as she slept. Wow. She was described as a beautiful serpent woman. She was the mother of many horrific monsters, such as Cerberus, the three-headed hound who guarded the underworld, the Gorgon sisters, the most well-known one being Medusa, who Athena and what's his name? What's his name? What's his name? Who did Athena help? What was his name? Perseus. Perseus was the other guy. Um, the Chia Maria, a creature that had the head of a lion, a goat, and a snake. So, no, that's a chimera. Autocorrect. You know, you gotta love it. But, off of Echidna, we're on to the Astronymphs. There wasn't much on the Astronymphs. It was kind of a little vague, but, you know, we made it work. The Astronymphs were also called Malae. They were created by the blood of Uranus's castration, similar to the Cyclopses, which also birch, which other, oh, it wasn't Cyclops. Wait, yeah. Which also birthed to many other creatures such as the giants and the Erinyes, and that also brought about Athena, the great goddess of all time, you know. They were the nurses of the infant Zeus in the Cretan Diki Mountains. The Astray Nymphs also had a lot of a lot of goddesses and loved nymphs, and like always were you know, getting a little too close to them nymphs. I remember the that one guy that was like half horse and the centaurs. I think it's the centaurs. It's like the half horse people, like their bottom half was a horse and their top half was males. They loved nymphs. Like they were always going crazy over them, even though they couldn't do anything to them. But yeah, those are all our creatures. So we're on to Rhea. She was daughter of Gaia and Uranus. She was also Cronus' sister and later became his wife. What a surprise! Another brother-sister relationship. Welcome to Greek mythology. In early traditions, she is known as the mother of the gods and is associated strongly with Gaia and Cybele, who was the Mother Earth goddess. Cronus was told that he would be overthrown by one of his own children. He then swallowed all of them. Rhea had hidden one of her children, which was Zeus, obviously. She gave birth to him in a cavern in the island of Crete. To distract Cronus, Rhea gave him a stone wrapped in cloth that he swallowed because he thought it was his kid. Rhea kept Zeus hidden in a cave on Mount Ida, guarded by the warrior-like Charites and Dactyls. When Zeus had grown up, he tricked Cronus into drinking a poison that made him throw up his children in reverse order. Rhea only occurs in Greek art from the 4th century BC. She can be shown on a throne flanked by lions, riding a lion, or on a chariot drawn by two lions. The second largest moon, or Saturn, is named after her as well as the bird. So the Rhea bird, and there's apparently a moon called Rhea too. So basically, Rhea was the big, like, woman of Greek mythology, making her exactly what everything was, and she basically started the whole thing with Gaia. So they were like the well, she gave birth to a lot of big, I think, titans. So yeah, it's pretty interesting. Zeus. So she was pretty important giving birth to Zeus. So we are on to Epimetheus. Epimetheus means hindsight. He was the brother of Prometheus. They were a pair of titans who acted like representatives of mankind. Both were sons of Hypatia. Prometheus was characterized as ingenious and clever. Epimetheus was depicted as foolish. The twin titans were entrusted with distributing the traits among the newly created animals. Epimetheus was responsible for giving a positive trait to every animal. Lacking foresight, he found that when he got to humans, there was nothing left. So basically, there was no more positive traits to give to humans. There was absolutely nothing. He already gave them all away, so it was basically pointless. Prometheus decided that mankind's attributes would be the civilizing arts and fire, which he stole from Athena and Hephaestus. Prometheus later stood trial for his crime. Basically, I'm pretty sure that's like a copyright law. So they even got copyrighted back in Greek mythology. Who would have thought? They had copyright laws back then too. But anyway, Zeus, the chief god, who had been tricked by Prometheus into accepting the bones and fat of sacrifice instead of the meat, hid fire from mortals. Prometheus, however, stole it and returned it to Earth once again. As the price of fire, and as punishment for humankind in general, Zeus created the woman Pandora, and sent her down to Epimetheus, who, though warned by Prometheus, married her. Pandora took the great lid off the jar she carried, and evil's hard work and disease flew out to plague humanity. Hope alone remained within. That was it. It was the only thing that was left in the Pandora's box. As vengeance on Prometheus, Zeus had him nailed to a mountain in the Caucasus and sent a vulture to eat his immortal liver, which constantly replenished itself. So basically, it's one of the worst ways. Well, no. You know, they never say anything about cutting him open to eat the liver. Is that just implied? Or, like, did he use a thunderbolt to, like, strike into his chest and push down for the liver? Or is it just, like, I don't know. Did the vulture just somehow, reach down his neck and just eat his liver a little bit so that it would replenish every time so he wouldn't die? You don't even need your liver. Liver's pointless. He could have lived without it. Then he just couldn't have drank alcohol anymore. I don't get the big deal. I don't know. I think Epimetheus was just a big weenie. He should have been fine without his liver. He should have just ripped it out himself. Thank you for watching, and I hope you had a good time watching it.